Welcome to the online Graduate Practicum Forum for Fall 2020. My name is Jason Lundin, your presenter. I am a graduate student in the Masters of Science in the Interdisciplinary Studies program in the Department of Occupational, Workforce, and Leadership Studies. The title of my practicum is Students Embrace Diversity in Physical Education, providing students a voice in their physical education through project-based learning. I completed my practicum experience at Rowe Lane Elementary School in Pflugerville ISD. I have been teaching in the classroom and in the physical education setting for nearly 10 years for PFISD. For the duration of that time, the physical education program has been discussing new ways to approach the curriculum. The targeted goal for many years has been to create a back and forth integration between the physical education setting and the classroom instruction. However, while many discussions have taken place and new ideas have been presented, I have yet to witness any substantial change in the one-way delivery of the physical education curriculum. With that, I was extremely excited to pursue a trial of project-based learning within the physical education curriculum on my campus. While project-based learning is not new to our district, its implementation has not been utilized in the physical education setting. To bolster the potential of the program, I decided to focus the lesson design through a lens of embracing diversity to tie the program to a key focus of our district at the current time. While approaching physical education in this way has been known to create challenges, project-based learning has the proven potential to be an extremely effective method for delivery of physical education curriculum on a deeper level than the traditional methods in practice today. The objective of this practicum was to try a new method for the delivery of the physical education curriculum that provides students a voice in their physical education experience, while embracing and celebrating the diversity of our campus. Through project-based learning, students and teachers collaborated to create lessons through a lens of diversity and implement a dedicated diversity physical education program at Rowe Lane Elementary School. In doing this, the hope was that physical education will be integrated across subject areas and ultimately increase teacher and student buy-in. This was accomplished through the formation of committees. Fifth grade students, teachers, and coaches were instrumental in the design, delivery, and implementation of the instructional process in the physical education experience at Rowe Lane Elementary. Through project-based learning, students worked over the course of the first grading period to create a recurring lesson block that not only taught the Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills, the TEKS, but provided students an opportunity to have a voice in their physical education experience. The challenge presented to students was to create a recurring lesson block that celebrates the diversity of our campus through physical education. In order to document the implementation of this program, I held pre- and post-interviews with teachers and students, as well as conducted a pre- and post-survey with participants to track the program's common themes. This feedback will be the driving force of the future direction of this initiative. With teachers, coaches, and students' collaboration being the backbone of the curriculum delivery process, their feedback will be the most important consideration for the program going forward in the future. The common themes that are to be considered heavily from the data collection process will be the level of teacher and student buy-in, the student learning outcomes, the program's successes and challenges, areas for improvement, and ultimately the desire to bring the program back for future students. In navigating this practicum process and reflecting upon my experiences, I uncovered many substantial findings that opened my mind and broadened my perspective. So much so that I struggled to narrow my highlights down to just 3 for this presentation. The first major finding that I took away from this process was the never-ending potential in utilizing student voice in the implementation and design of curriculum. While I know that student voice is a valuable resource, too often it falls by the wayside under the time constraints and intense pacing of today's curriculum. Following this experience, I know that any additional time spent on tapping into student voice is well worth the benefit of student buy-in that will be achieved. The second major takeaway from this process is the overwhelming willingness from teachers and students to take on a new challenge during an already difficult time with the adversity education is facing amidst the pandemic. Time and time again, my spirit was renewed during this experience by the willingness of teachers and students to put forth effort above and beyond the call of duty for this program. It was truly humbling. Lastly, without knowing the outcome of this program, under normal circumstances, the increased uncertainty of COVID-19 had me constantly questioning the potential for any positive learning outcomes in navigating this practicum experience. However, at every turn, I witnessed positive learning outcomes taking place for teachers, students, and myself. At times it seemed the adversity of the pandemic enhanced the drive towards a positive learning outcome rather than hinder it. If this whole thing has taught me anything, it's that the potential for learning can persevere through the most difficult of challenges. I found myself frequently making meaningful connections to the literature as I went through this practicum process, and once again struggled to narrow it down to the parameters of this presentation. The first major connection to the literature that continued to reoccur during this experience was from Coyne, Hollis, and Potter's article that outlined the importance of redefining physical education through project-based learning. Their emphasis on creativity and real-world application proved to be vital to the success of the program. In reading Hardman and Standeven's book, it shed a lot of light on the cultural aspects of physical education and sport, which was valuable in the lesson planning portion of the practicum. With the valuing of diversity being a key focus of the program's curriculum, this literature was extremely helpful in finding creative ways to integrate diversity into the lessons. Lastly, Wilson's book on leading change in education provided me with a humanistic approach to implementing change during a difficult time in education amidst the pandemic. This book provided me with strategies to accomplishing this task in a way that took the focus away from the challenges and difficulties and placed it on the positive learning outcome of students. This proved to be extremely vital in navigating this turbulent time in education. If I have learned nothing else over the course of this practicum experience, it's that the ability to remain flexible and allow oneself and others grace in the face of adversity is a virtue. My strength during this process was my acceptance of the need for flexibility and grace. With the ever-changing and at times chaotic environment COVID-19 created in the recent months, I had to learn to stop resisting the challenges and instead remain flexible and embrace the learning opportunities that accompanied this unprecedented situation. One of the difficulties of navigating this process is the uncertainty of the outcomes. For me, the uncertainty was constantly looming and at times hindering me from seeing the goal of the project. In the end, all I was hoping for was a positive learning outcome. Appropriately balancing the potential for risk versus gain when implementing something new is an area where I have room for future growth. The biggest opportunity for me in going through this process is the potential to create a program that will continue to benefit students in the future. If any form of this program lives on for future students, then all expectations will have been exceeded. Seeing the positive learning outcomes and the buy-in from teachers and students alike has made this entire process one of the most valuable aspects of the MSIS program for me. Through application and self-reflection, I have grown professionally and personally throughout this process. One thing I have learned repeatedly as I have gone through this program is that one of my biggest threats to my own learning is my tendency to cast negative assumptions on the potential outcomes of my work. On multiple occasions over the course of implementing this program, I found that the only limitations to the work I was doing was my own assumptions. In working with students and teachers, I was reminded many times that there is no limitations for the desire to learn if you allow it to happen. Going forward, following the completion of my practicum experience, I intend to continue and foster and grow the project-based learning and physical education program on my campus and look for ways to improve upon the work that has been done. I also want to look at the possibilities for expanding the program beyond my campus and potentially implement aspects of this program on additional campuses or into the physical education curriculum. Lastly, through the implementation of this project-based learning experience within physical education, I have demonstrated my abilities to deliver the physical education curriculum in different ways while supporting our district's commitment to serving the whole child and celebrating our diversity. My hope is that in doing this, I'll be able to open doors that will allow me to transition into a leadership role at the district level. Ultimately, I want the opportunity to make a positive impact on the lives of students on a large scale and hope that I can utilize this experience to advance my career in education. In conclusion, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the ALS Department, my professors, fellow students, and everyone who has contributed to my learning experience over the course of this program. I look forward to what the future holds and am excited to utilize all that I have learned in the future. On the YouTube page below, please indicate your anonymous preference for this practicum by clicking on one of these two icons. Also, please post your comments or questions in the YouTube comments section below. I will respond to your inquiries posted between November 9th and 20th through this webpage. Thank you in advance for your feedback, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation of my practicum experience.